Hi, everyone. You're listening to Live with Necee. I am your host, Opal Bailey. Today on my show, we will discuss family values with my guest, Anthony Blunt, as he shared with us love in action. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Very grateful to be here. Appreciate you inviting me in.
Oh, you know what? I haven't seen you in a while. So you remember the first time we met?
Yes.
Could you tell about that? I want to see.
Regions Bank.
Yes.
You mean when I actually finally got you in the branch to actually meet after a couple missed appointments?
Yeah.
And
Well, maybe we shouldn't be talking about that part, but
Okay.
no, that's fine.
Well, I remember sitting and talking with you about your business and just kind of going through some things that we thought might be able to enhance what you do, and really just trying to give some guidance and advice. What I do in banking, it was some work, entertaining, but I tell you, it was great working with you. Love hearing from you and talking with you always. It's always something fruitful that came from the conversation, whether it was business or personal or spiritual. So always good conversation.
It was good. You know what? But I think that there is a day that we met before. I don't know if you remember, but I came into your bank thinking that it was TD Bank. And you were the one that told me, you have the wrong bank. And I thought about that like last week. I was like, wait a minute. I met him before, and that might have been like years before I even came into your bank. So, and the reason I'm bringing that up, it goes in line with our topic on love in action, because the things that you were sharing with me as far as with my business and how to improve my business and how to keep everything on track, it just showed how much love you had for me, even though you didn't know me, but for what you do. And so since that's a good topic for us today, share with us a little bit about yourself. How did your family values and how did that love in action into you in order for you to bring it out to others?
I mean, I would have to say my upbringing with my mom. I grew up in a single parent home with just me, my mom, and my younger sister. My mom understood and she communicated to me all the time that it takes a man to teach a boy how to be a man. And I appreciated her for understanding that and not trying to raise a man as a woman. And so she put me around my uncles a lot, my grandmother's brothers. And so I just really grew up old school. And I grew up around a lot of older people where if I got in trouble, that news made it home before me. And when I got home, I got in trouble again for somebody having to get on me away from home and just not representing my family well. And my mom and my uncles, they really instilled that in me. And just the relationship that I had with those in my community because of that, I was always open to helping my neighbors and just helping those in my community because of the relationship that they had with my family and the importance that my family put on representing the family well. And, you know, when you're out, you know, when people look at you, they see me. You know, my mom and my grandma would tell me and my uncles, you know, that I represent them when I'm away from home. And I wanted to do a good job at representing my folks because I loved them, you know, and they spent so much time and energy and helping me learn to do the right things. I wanted to represent them well when I left home. And so, you know, when I got into the workforce and started working, I wanted to be able to do something I could be passionate about. And I love people, you know, so anything that I'm doing, I'm helping people. I'm in my element. And so banking is no different. I love being able to help people have some type of financial liberation or some type of financial freedom and being able to just have a control on it and not being stressed out about it. So I guess in a nutshell, that's kind of it.
Wow, you said something that's powerful when you say you raised up in a single parent home. And, you know, and sometimes as single parents, when we're raising up men, young boys, that we tend to train them as the mother, you know, come help me in the kitchen, you know, come clean the dishes, you know, come help me with the groceries or come do this. We don't normally hear a single parent putting their son with men and say, okay, you go to your uncles, you go to your brother or cousin or something, and you let them train you in the way that you should go. And that's basically what your mom did, was kind of train you in the way that you should go. So I know that you said you not only operate with this quality in your business, but you also operate it in the community. So tell us about what you do outside of your home.
Oh man, I'm always on the go. I serve as the treasurer for Rockledge Youth Football. This is my third year coaching there. I coach senior flag this year, and I'm the youth minister at Fifth Boulevard Church of Christ. So I spend a lot of time with the kids there. And anything where I see there's just some opportunity to be around some of the younger folks. You know, my kids one day will be looking up to them. And so I believe if I can invest in them now, when my kids are looking up to them and they're at that age where it's not cool to listen to daddy anymore, at least I'll have some impact and some type of influence on the folks that they are looking at. And so, you know, I do things mindful of the next generation and then, my children and their children. I try and spend as much time as I can on the ground in the neighborhood that I live in and operating and letting people see me because that's where I come from. And if it wasn't for people like that doing things for me, there's no way I'd be where I'm at today.
Wow, That's awesome. So it's more like love in action. You're giving back what you was given. And that's important in our society today because sometimes it's all about us. You know, it's all about what I'm going to get, what somebody going to do for me, what I deserve. And it's powerful to know that you have that heart and that passion for young people. And how are they receiving you with how you're teaching, and what kind of teachings are you giving them when you're coaching, you know?
I work with a wide range of kids. I mean, my younger kids, I think probably what I do different than some other folks is my younger kids, and when I say young, I mean that 5 to about 7 or 8 range. Mm-hmm. I talk to them like they're adults. I don't belittle them. I don't talk to them like they don't know. I'm very straightforward with them. And I keep things off of them and on the issue. And they understand things like that, you know. And I'll give you a good example. I have a young kid that played football with me, and I spent time with him. He's been coming to church with me. But when I talk to him, I talk to him about making good decisions. Mm-hmm. I talk to him about what are leadership qualities that he possesses. And I talk to him about being in control of himself and not allowing others to control him. And you would think, you know, for a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that might be over their head. But he responds to it. Mm-hmm. When I first started spending time with this kid, you know, at school, they give them the smiley face or the straight line face or the sad face. Mm-hmm. This kid was getting a 1, which was a sad face just about every day. And after spending some time together and really talking to him about accountability, you know, because when I would ask him about his day, he would try and tell me about, you know, 1, he would try to tell me it was okay. And I say, well, you know, you say it's okay, but I see you got a 1. You know, so what happened that caused you to get a 1 and then you think it's okay? Mm-hmm. And so we would talk about that. And one of the first things that he would do is what most kids do. They say, well, such and such did this to me. And I would stop him then and say, well, I didn't ask you about him. I asked you about you. So what did you do that caused you to get a 1? Because he can't make you get a 1.
Right.
You know, and kids they're just like us. They don't like for anybody else to be in control of them. And so when you start talking to them like that, and I said to him, you know, so you telling me that he control you? He tell you what to do? He determine how your day going to end up being? Mm-hmm. No, he not tell me what to do. He don't determine my day. And so, you know, we just talk through that. Well, that's what you allow him to do, you know. And then you're telling me that he's the reason you got a 1, but he's not in control of you. And when you talk to them like that, they understand that. They receive that. And he started making changes, and the conversation would shift, you know, to where he would get a 3. And I said, well, what did you do today? And he would tell me, well, you know, and there were details along with it. Not mm-hmm. just I had a good day, but this is what I did. These are some of the decisions that I made to make it a good day. You know, there was an opportunity where it could have went bad, but I made the right decision. Mm-hmm. And talking through that and celebrating that, he enjoyed it, and he want to perform, and he want to do well because he knows somebody's there to hold him accountable. Kids need accountability too, and they yearn for that structure.
Yeah, that's true, because we do too.
Definitely.
We were created to have accountability, to be responsible, and to do the right things. You know, we were fashioned, God fashioned us that way. He fashioned us to honor authority, you know, to listen to our parents, because that's why he tell us, obey your parents. Mm-hmm. So if he wanted us to live a frivolous life, he wouldn't have gave us structure. We fight against the structure, but he gave it to us to guide us down the road. And not only that, he tells us too, when we have children, to train them up in the way they should go. not to let the children train us, not to let the children tell us what to do, guide us as parents. And it's flipped now in our society because some families allow their children to tell them what to do, allow their children to kind of boss them in a way. They're making them accountable to them instead of vice versa, And another, while you were talking, I was thinking of unconditional love, because God gave us unconditional love. And I believe that's why the young people are so attentive to you is because of your unconditional love. And so with that, I'm saying, as far as the unconditional, is that you knew that he was doing whatever he was doing and you didn't attack him and say, why you didn't do da da da, or you didn't shun away from them, So can you explain, like, what else do you do with the young people other than coaching? Do you, in your ministry, what have they begin to do to show that you have made an impact in their life?
Old man said to me one time, he said, kids spell love Time. And that's how they proportion how much you love them based on how much time you spend with them. When I see kids start to spend more time around me and want to spend more time around me, that's evident to me that they see is something there. It's something that they like, something that they enjoy, some value in the relationship that they have with me. And it's something more that they want to get out of it. So, I open up my house to the kids in my youth ministry, to the kids that I coach. We do devos, me and my wife, at my home sometimes, and just trying to always make it inviting for them by doing the thing, just like you said. You can't attack them. You got to remember you were 15 and 16 before too. You were 11 and 12 before too. I was 5 and 6 before too. And the things that my son and my daughter do, I tell them. I'll stop my son all the time and I say, man, listen, I was 6 before too. I've done that a couple times, and he look at me crazy. I say, yes, that same thing. I've done that a couple times. But he's more receptive to it then because I'm not beating him up about it. I understand. I can relate to it. That doesn't make it right because I understand it's some things that we need to adjust. And we just talk through it. But you can't treat a kid like you don't know. Like you don't understand. Right. Like you can't get why they do some of the things that they do when you've been down that road. Yeah. You understand, if you're dealing with hormones you can't control, you're trying to figure out things that you don't understand. For little kids, you're just curious and you want to know, you want to test and see what you can get away with. You've done it too, so just being understanding to that and being open, not trying to be so holy or so mature now that you don't get it. So, and
I think too, what's important is being real. That's what you're saying, basically.
All day.
Be real with your kids, man. Just you're a parent and you're not a super parent and you don't have bulletproof vests on, that nothing affected you, and to just be honest and open and real. And that reminded me of the times when raising my kids, as a single mom of 4 girls and stuff too, I had to be honest with them. I had to let them know, even how I felt. If I had a bad day, I told them I had a bad day and they're asking me, Mom, what happened? And I'm talking to them. And then when they come in, I'm asking them, how was their day? And then it's more of it's connecting. And that's what it's all about, really, is you connecting with the young people, with your family, with your wife, to touch the very thing that we all have, and that's the heart. Once you have the heart, you can change anybody. It's once that person's heart's been changed, they can change the choices that they make.
As
they
a man thinketh in his heart, such is he.
Yeah. That's true.
That's why everything flow through the heart. Yeah. That's when you change that and you change the way that you think, that's where life flows from. So that's important. I talk to my kids all the time about having a pure heart. It's funny because now when they do stuff, I heard my daughter say to my son the other day, he was picking at my youngest daughter, and my oldest daughter looked at him and she said, AJ, pure heart. Because she recognized that as something that's being wrong, and there wasn't a pure heart. It's not nice. And when you say stuff like that, man, you think a kid don't pick up on it and they don't understand it, but they get it. Yeah. And they can identify with it and relate to it at an early age. And when you instill that stuff in them, they won't, they'll remember it. They might not always get it right.